Hi there, it's Ernest from Astute. Today's topic, getting cash abroad. Most people know that I prefer using credit cards when traveling, especially internationally. However, there are times when cash is the only option. And in those cases, getting cash when you arrive in the country makes a lot of sense. You've probably seen the currency exchange booths at the airport. They look pretty convenient. You walk down the terminal and you see a little booth with a bunch of exchange rates and you think, wow, that's an easy way to exchange cash. But there's a catch. The exchange rates and fees at those booths are generally pretty unfavorable. That's why I avoid them at all costs. A better way to get cash when you're traveling abroad is to use the ATM. Even if the ATM charges you a transaction fee, it's generally less than what the exchange booths will charge you. Plus, you're getting a much better exchange rate when using the ATMs. Still, you may want to check with your bank to see what the fees are. I've included a link below that shows some of the fees for the major US banks. If you're really savvy, I would suggest finding a debit card that doesn't charge you a fee or that reimburses you for any overseas fees. One such product is the Charles Schwab high interest checking account, which includes a debit card that reimburses all ATM fees, both domestic and international. It's a great card to carry, and I usually load it up before my trips overseas. What I usually do is actually carry my normal banking debit card and leave it in the hotel safe, so I still have it in case I need it. But my general everyday debit card when traveling overseas is my Schwab debit card. And what I like about it is that it adds a little extra buffer between my normal checking and what I need for my trip. So if my card gets stolen or if I misplace it, I'm not as concerned about it as I would be if I lost my primary debit card. Before your next trip though, here are some tips to keep in mind when getting money from the ATM. Number 1, research how much money you plan to withdraw from the ATM. I can't tell you how many times I've been to the ATM and tried to withdraw money only to be completely confused at how much the exchange rate is. I'll see things listed in local currency and wonder how much is it to withdraw the equivalent of $40 or maybe $20. You can save yourself the trouble by looking it up in advance on an app or on a board. The bottom line is just have an idea of how much the exchange rate is. It'll save you a little bit of trouble when you actually withdraw money. Number 2, look for ATMs with official logos. In general, I find that the larger banks have more reliable ATMs. I've been in situations where I've tried to withdraw money from a convenience store or a gas station only to have the ATM freeze or completely reject my transaction. I've even been in airports where I've used a smaller bank and my transaction has completely failed. So my general rule of thumb is try to stick to the larger banks. You'll probably have a better chance of getting a successful ATM withdrawal. Number 3, use ATMs in more high traffic areas. In general, you're less likely to get mugged in a place where there's a lot of people. That being said, I've heard stories of people being mugged in airports and in other locations where there's a lot of tourists. So just keep your wits about you. You never know who may be around the corner, who may be scoping out the ATM. So always have your guard up whenever you're getting cash from the ATM. Number 4, look for any tampering on the ATM itself. Make sure that the ATM hasn't been altered in any way. One of the most common scams is for thieves to install a swiper in the card reader. Just make sure to take a look at your ATM and make sure that there aren't any visible signs of tampering or alterations to the machine. And lastly, number 5, notify the banks of any travel plans that you might have, especially if you're going international. The last thing you want to do is to travel abroad, go to the ATM, and have all your accounts shut down or put on hold because you didn't notify the banks that you were traveling. Take the extra second. You can usually do it online, or if you can't do it online, just call the bank or your credit union and let them know of your travel plans. It'll save you a huge headache when you travel. Anyway, those are some quick tips on getting cash when abroad. I've included some helpful links below, especially one to the Charles Schwab high interest checking account in case you're interested in applying. Also, if you have any tips or any questions, please add them to the comment section below. As always, if you like this video, please click the button below and hit subscribe as well. Until next time, travel safe and travel smart.